Johnny, Sue, Fred, and Jane are all high school seniors. Johnny and Sue are straight-A students. They put in lots of time and effort into their studies. Fred and Jane have little interest in school. They would rather party and have fun. They are failing all of their classes. Fred and Jane are jealous of Johnny and Sue. They feel it's unfair that Johnny and Sue are doing so well while they are failing. Unless something changes, Fred and Jane won't graduate. Fred and Jane circulate a petition among all of their friends who are also failing. The petition asks the school board to address the inherent academic unfairness in the high school. The petition states that it's not right for some students to be failing, while others have a higher average than they need. They demand that the school board take some points away from the successful students and give them to the failing students so that they can pass and graduate also. Fred and Jane tell the board that 51% of the students have signed the petition. The board doesn't want to be portrayed as being unfair, so they agree to implement the petition. On the first test given after the change, Johnny and Sue worked hard to earn 100, while Fred and Jane didn't do much and got 50. Based on the new grading formula, 10 points were taken from Johnny and Sue and given to Fred and Jane. Johnny and Sue's grade dropped to 90, while Fred and Jane's rose to a passing grade of 60. The school board was pleased. Johnny and Sue still had an A, while Fred and Jane passed with a D. For the second test, Johnny and Sue didn't study as hard. They saw no reason to get higher than a 90, because any points above that would just be taken from them. Fred and Jane were thrilled that the school board made sure they passed. They figured that under this new grading system, they could do even less work than before. On the second test, Johnny and Sue received a 90, while Fred and Jane got 40. Now Fred and Jane needed 20 extra points to pass. So 20 points were taken from Johnny and Sue and given to Fred and Jane. So Johnny and Sue's grade dropped to 70, while Fred and Jane's rose to a passing grade of 60. Johnny and Sue now had a C, while Fred and Jane still passed with a D. Johnny and Sue were discouraged by the new grading system. Under this system, it didn't matter how hard they worked. They were tired of spending so much time and effort only to have their grades lowered to support those students who didn't care about school. Since the new system guaranteed that everyone would pass, Johnny and Sue stopped doing their schoolwork also. On the third test, Johnny and Sue each got a 50, while Fred and Jane didn't even show up and were given a 0. Everyone failed because there weren't enough points to go around. The moral of this story? When people are not allowed to benefit from their hard work, no one will work and everyone fails. I'm Brian Golden, author of Dare to Live Without Limits.